Have you ever been in a situation where everything seemed perfect? The conversations were deep. The dates were magical. You gave her attention, flowers, compliments, even opened your heart. But somehow she still drifted away. You were left confused, wondering, wasn't I doing everything right? Here's the harsh truth no one tells you. Women don't fall in love with effort. They don't fall for logic. They don't fall for your words, your gifts, or how many times you text her good morning. They fall for a feeling, a deep, almost unexplainable emotional experience that you create without even realizing it. It's not about chasing, it's not about proving, it's about presence, about how your energy makes her feel when she's around you. Even in silence, even in conflict, even when nothing is being said. This is where most men go completely wrong. They believe that more effort equals more affection. But women don't attach to effort. They attach to emotional gravity, that invisible pull of a man who knows who he is, who doesn't chase, who doesn't panic, who doesn't need her to feel whole, but who creates a space that makes her want to stay. So today, I'm not going to give you a list of dating tricks or pickup lines. You can find a million of those online. This isn't that kind of video. What I'm going to show you is something deeper. The psychological triggers and emotional dynamics that make a woman feel safe, seen, and deeply drawn to you, often without even knowing why. Because here's the secret most never figure out. It's not the words you say, it's not the actions you take. It's the emotional experience she begins to associate with your presence. This video will break down 8 powerful psychological dynamics that create that emotional gravity. But more importantly, I'll share real stories, practical examples, in my own perspective, so you can stop guessing and start becoming the man she can't forget. Whether you're in a relationship, going through a breakup, or just trying to understand love on a deeper level, this isn't just about women. It's about you, your energy, your mindset, your emotional control. And let me be clear, this has nothing to do with manipulation, nothing to do with playing games. This is about becoming emotionally mature, grounded, and unshakably confident in who you are. Because that's what makes her trust you. That's what makes her open up. That's what makes her attach, not to what you do, but how she feels when you're around her. Let me give you a preview of what's coming. We'll explore why a woman is more drawn to your stillness during her silence than your words during her storm. Emotional safety matters more than romantic gestures. How you protect your peace makes her want to be part of your world. Leadership without control is what builds trust. And why the less you try to force connection, the deeper it actually grows. We'll go through each of these, not just with theory, but with real examples and lessons I've learned by watching others and living through it myself. And in the middle of it all, I'll tell you stories, ones you've probably lived yourself or watched unfold in someone else's life. The truth is, women don't fall in love the way most men think. They don't fall for the man who puts her on a pedestal. They fall for the man who stays grounded when she's emotional, holds space when she's distant, moves forward with or without her validation. They fall for the emotional rhythm you create, not the promises you make. And by the end of this video, if you truly pay attention, not just to my words, but to the message behind them, you'll understand something powerful. Real love isn't about trying to make her stay. It's about becoming the kind of man who makes walking away feel impossible. So if that's what you're here to learn, if you're tired of shallow advice and ready for something deeper, then keep watching, because we're about to break down everything you've been told and replace it with what actually makes her fall for you. Silently, naturally, and deeply. Let's begin. Point 2. She falls for the man who doesn't flinch under pressure. There's a moment that defines many relationships, but few people notice it when it happens. It's that moment when she breaks down, gets overwhelmed, or snaps at you. Not because she hates you, but because she's testing something she doesn't even realize she's testing. Can you stay grounded while I fall apart? Most men panic in that moment. They try to fix everything. They over-apologize. They defend. They run. But the man who stands still, who breathes, listens, doesn't interrupt, and doesn't crumble under emotional heat is the man who instantly becomes different in her mind. She doesn't want a superhero. She wants a stable space. She's not looking for someone to solve her. She's looking for someone who can handle her without judgment, without reacting, without trying to shut her emotions down. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine once dated a woman who had what many would call emotional outbursts. He almost walked away early in the relationship because he felt like he was being pulled into chaos. One night, she broke down crying over something small, something about a family text. He started explaining why it didn't matter. He tried to fix it. She screamed, "I don't need you to fix it. I need you to just sit here." That night changed him. From then on, he learned to just be present, to stop reacting, to stop managing her emotional weather, and simply be a calm presence within it. And that's when she truly started opening up, because she realized he didn't flinch. Point 3. She falls for the man who protects his energy. Here's the secret most emotionally reactive men never learn. You don't earn respect by over-explaining. You earn it by valuing your energy and choosing when and how you give it. Let me ask you something. If you reply to every text within seconds, if you always say yes just to stay liked, if you explain yourself over and over again, hoping she'll see your worth, what are you really communicating? That your energy is up for grabs, that your peace is negotiable. But when you protect your energy, when you don't chase, when you don't panic over slow replies, when you're comfortable not being liked all the time, you communicate something powerful. My presence is a privilege, not a performance. Women don't fall in love with men who beg. They fall in love with men who lead their own lives and welcome her in, but don't hand over the keys. That's not arrogance. That's inner leadership. And here's the ironic part. The more you value your time and your peace, the more she wants to earn a spot in your world, because she senses something rare. A man who doesn't lose himself just to keep her. Point 4. She falls for the way you handle her flaws. Everyone loves to be praised when they're at their best. But love isn't tested when she's glowing. It's tested when she's moody, messy, uncertain, or ashamed. And the way you respond in those moments, it can either build a wall or build a bridge. Here's a moment I'll never forget. A woman once told me, I knew he was the one not because of how he complimented me when I looked good, but how he looked at me the same when I broke down crying in front of him wearing sweats and no makeup. That's it. Women are constantly under pressure to appear perfect, but the man who gives her permission to be imperfect, who holds her, jokes with her, listens to her even when she's overthinking everything, that man creates a kind of emotional safety that no handsome face or romantic text could ever match. So don't try to fix her. Don't make her feel like she's broken when she's vulnerable. Just let her be real and love her there. That's when she starts attaching, because she realizes she doesn't need a mask around you. Point 5. She falls when you lead without controlling. There's a kind of leadership that women gravitate toward, and it's not loud, aggressive, or forceful. It's quiet leadership. You don't have to bark orders or dominate the conversation. You don't need to control her or put her in her place. You just lead with calm direction. It could be as simple as planning the date without asking, "So what do you want to do?" Saying, "Let's go here," with quiet confidence. Making decisions not to control her, but to remove the burden of decision fatigue. It's not about being bossy. It's about offering direction so she can relax. Because here's what most men don't realize. When you lead with calm strength, she feels safe enough to let go of control. Not because you demanded it, but because you made her feel like she could trust where you're going. And that trust, that's what opens the door to emotional intimacy. Point 6. She falls for the way you don't force connection. We live in a world obsessed with instant connection. Oversharing, intense conversations, pushing vulnerability too early, it's everywhere. But real connection, it's not rushed. It's quiet, gradual, built like a fire, slowly and intentionally. The man who doesn't force deep conversations, who doesn't pressure her to open up, who doesn't turn every moment into a therapy session, that's the man who makes her feel safe to open up on her own terms. You don't have to impress her with your trauma. You don't need to prove you're emotionally woke. Just listen. Just be still in the silence. Let her speak when she's ready. One of the most attractive things you can say is, "Take your time. I'm not going anywhere." That patience, that lack of pressure, it builds a connection that doesn't feel manufactured. It feels earned. Because when she opens up and sees that you're not rushing to respond or judge, she realizes she's found something rare. A man who makes her feel heard without demanding to be heard back.